We are live on the Oxford podcast. Good morning, Oxford Nation. Good morning. How we doing this morning? I am very sad this morning because I got a regular coffee cup because I left my new coffee cup at the gym. The one that keeps my coffee warm, left it at the gym. And I feel stupid because I get angry at all the cups and mugs and water bottles and uh, all the all the trash that people leave at the gym. I get annoyed about how many water bottles we have, and then here I am drinking out of this cup like a loser because I left it at the gym yesterday. I'm gonna have to go into a lost and found and try and find it. Jeez, that lost and found must be worth. There must be a couple of $100 in water bottles that people have that they're it's a bottle for life, right? Is that what we call it? Well, we have a closet full of 19 bottles full of life that we got for the kids. But yeah, I'm excited this morning. It's a great month. The weather's nice. I can wear my starter jacket. Some nice stuff back there, Cash. There is some nice stuff back there. And the longer you leave it, the more chance you'll see Caitlin or Savannah wearing it, right? So some of them water bottles are really expensive too. And if I drank water like you Americans, or if I just needed a water bottle as I think it's more like a water bottle pacifier. If I needed a water bottle pacifier, then I would probably steal one of them bottles because some have been there for months and they're not cheap. I have to bring my new water bottle that somebody got me. It was Steve got it me from the 5 a.m. class, and it's I don't know the name, the one with the straw and everything, and it's like one of them, but it weighs 10 pounds. Just weighs 10 pounds for no reason. I'll bring it on next episode. I do have this sports bottle because I'm an athlete, and it's got salt in it. So, Caitlin, you'd be very proud that I'm drinking that. But yeah. Good morning, Oxford Nation. Have you seen that movie, Is it Good Morning Vietnam? What a great movie. Oh, I like that word. That is a good name for it. Emotional support water bottle. I don't know how old I was when I first drank out of a water bottle, but apparently my kids need to take a water bottle everywhere they go. They don't care, but if they went to gymnastics and they ran around in a circle for a good 35 seconds and then they had to go get water apparently. And every time I get there, obviously I forgot the water bottle. So every practice, every event, they need as Whitney calls it, ESWB, their emotional support water bottle. And I guess some of you grew up with your emotional support water bottle. I don't think I drank water until I was 25. Yeah, gosh, when did you first start drinking water? I wish I never started drinking coffee, but hey, here we are. I got a new kettle this weekend. That's something I got, so I'm excited about that. I'm gonna try and switch back to tea a little bit more, you know? But while we're drinking this coffee, we'll really enjoy it. So if you see my emotional support water bottle knocking around Grant Park, it's a coffee mug. It says Perk Coffee on it. Don't you dare touch it. Just leave it where it is. I'm coming to get it because this drink's about to go really cold while I'm doing this podcast. And I think there's nothing worse than that. All right, let's update you on my atomic habits. because I'm really excited about where I'm at with my atomic habits. And it leads very nicely into what I want to talk about today. I don't know if you saw the title of this podcast, but it's 99% right and 100% wrong. So let me look at it. We'll go back to why my atomic habits are so important and why I'm spending so much time setting them and working through this workbook this year. I grew up and my goal was to go and play in the NBA, right? You can't tell on this podcast, but if you've met me, I'm 5'9" and I'm from England. And my vertical jump, I would say I could jump over my iPad when it's this way, right? Turn it up on its head, I'm not sure, right? So every single person that knew me back then, or, I talked about goals and dreams and stuff, they would kind of think it was a joke, right? Um, and they were not wrong, right? Every category of thing that you could talk about. So, like, I'm from England. I'm from a small town in England. I'm not even from a city. I started playing basketball when I was 11 or 12 years old. Like, first touched a basketball, started to see what it was. Um, I am not super fast, pretty quick. Um, I don't have a massive vertical jump. I'm not super athletic. I'm not super strong, right? So you go through the list of things and it gets, more and more true that me making the NBA probably not going to happen. Me getting a basketball scholarship to America sounds ridiculous, right? I'm in this small school in a small town in England. There's no recruits coming to watch. Like, there's not much chance of it happening. And so everybody around me, when I would talk about that, they were 99.9% right that I was not going to go to America. I was not going to get a scholarship. The problem is that I didn't know that. I didn't know them odds. I just had the goal and I had the dream, and I knew it was going to happen because, as Rashid said, my favorite movie was White Men Can't Jump. And I just knew that I was going to end up in America. I knew it. I knew it in my soul that I was going to get there. And I didn't know how, and I didn't care. I just kept working hard. And everybody was 99.9% right. That 0.01% that got me to America, got me on a basketball team in college, got me playing in the Drew League in LA, that 0.01% made them wrong. Now, I didn't make the NBA, so you could say that they were 100% right. But without that goal and without that dream and without them odds being stacked against me, I wouldn't have this life right now. I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I wouldn't have 2 gyms. I wouldn't have the life that I have based on if I would have looked at all them facts, right? So we're going to get into a little bit more what that looks like in everyday life and why I've been so focused on my goals and habits now, because that goal and that dream was so specific. It was so easy. Like, I just got up every day and my full identity was that I'm going to be a professional athlete. So if it didn't fit into that box, I just didn't do it, right? I didn't really drink. I didn't really party. I didn't really do. I got up and I shot 1,000 shots a day. I lifted weights. Then I ran. And like 6 hours a day was spent on me wanting to be that. That was my full identity. I, I don't know how me and Lauren ended up in a relationship, because even in college, I barely saw her. We only worked out together. And then I was off doing, training. And so that was my full identity. Then I retire from basketball. I'm not playing basketball anymore. It was really difficult for me to figure out where to put all this energy, right? I knew that I wanted to work hard and I knew I wanted to train hard for 6 to 8 hours a day, but I had nowhere to direct it anymore because basketball wasn't going to happen. I was like mid 30s. I was early 30s, and nobody was knocking on my door to pay me what I thought I was worth. And my other skills and my other goals could build us a better life. And so for the past, I would say, 10 years since retiring from playing basketball, I've had goals and I know where I wanted to go and I've worked really hard, but I haven't had that same identity. I haven't been able to put it somewhere like I was able to put, hey, I'm going to be a professional athlete. This is what a professional athlete does. This is what a professional athlete doesn't do. So I've done a lot of different things. I was a gym owner, right? I was uh, a amateur CrossFit athlete. I was all kinds of different things that I would point my energy to, but it hadn't quite built my identity. And that's why I'm loving going through Atomic Habits right now because it's really fun. That, like, I've started to see that I don't need more goals. I need to be able to find a way that I can tie this new identity at 39 to what I want to do with my life. And that's a difficult thing. It's a difficult concept. It's a simple concept when you're a teenager, right? Like, I was so young and naive that I just decided I was a professional athlete and nobody could tell me any different. And then you get into your 20s and I meet 20-year-olds now that I work with as a business coach that are so young and naive. They just tell you, like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to be CEO of this company. I'm going to make this app. I'm going to do this. And they don't know how hard that really is to do. So they just dive right in. And you might be like, there's no way they're going to do that. But that's what I was told. There's no way you're going to go to America. There's no way you're going to get a scholarship. There's no way you're going to be a professional basketball player. And then 99.9% right. But there's a 0.01% that they're 100% wrong. And I've been working on that now. So talk about Atomic Habits real quick before I jump into my stuff. So I went through all the sheets, right? I did my time analysis. I saw what I was working on and what I was doing with my time. And then after creating my dream day, which is something that I do with all my people, like everybody that I work with, I want to know what your dream day looks like. Then I want to know what you want your life to look like. I want you to know what it looks like in, the next 12 months, the next 5 years, the next 10 years, like who are you going to be in 10 years? And then now we're coming to identity, right? And this is where this is going to be a really fun episode this morning because I think a lot of people are working really hard, but they don't know what they're working on and what they're working towards. And I've done that. Now I'm trying to establish my identity, right? So over this next year, 2026, I am going to stop saying I'm the CEO of Oxfit and I'm going to be the CEO of Oxfit. I'm going to live that identity. I'm not going to be the small business owner of Oxfit where I just run around like a crazy idiot trying to do everything and say that I'm working hard. I also know that I love working with business owners. So I'm going to work with business owners on fitness, on their business, on their nutrition, on all the things that I know I'm going to help them have a better life. And also, I have a passion for working with dads and men, and I really want to be able to have an impact on lowering the suicide rate in men. Then a new identity that has only come along in the last 5 years is me being a dad and me being a husband and a father, which is a completely new identity too. What are them habits? And so old me was professional athlete, right? I still can't shake that off. I still have to have the identity of being an athlete. Like, that will never leave. And that is something that's really important to me. But the new identity of me is, what would the CEO of Oxfit do, right? Like, it's a little bit more important than me being a professional athlete. So that will come first. Now, fitness will build into that as one of the baselines. Me being a men's health and fitness and business coach. Again, me being an athlete is important to that, but it's not the main priority. And then me being a father and a husband, again, me being an athlete is very important to that, but it's not the number one priority. It's just got to be that foundation. Very different identities, still always tied back to me being a professional athlete. There still will be a point where this pays me to be a professional athlete because that's who I am. That's who I was at 5, 6, 7 years old. Whatever sport I picked up, I was going to be a professional athlete at it. I didn't hit a tennis ball against a wall trying to get better at being hitting a ball against the wall. I was on the center court at Wimbledon. I didn't put on roller skates and start, grinding on curbs because I was trying to get better at grinding on curbs. And I was going to go to the X Games. And that's just my personality. And I see it in my son Leo right now. That's his personality too. He just dives into them worlds. And that's who I am. I'm the CEO of Oxfit. I'm gonna dive into that world. And that's my personality. If you're like me, you know what that means. So I'm gonna get really blunt right now. You can be 99.9% right and still be 100% wrong. Working hard doesn't mean you're working smart. Discipline doesn't matter if your goals are trash. Most people aren't stuck because they're lazy. They're stuck because they never questioned the direction that they're committed to. They just double down, grind harder, and then call it character. And I've been there. Before you work harder, you've got to ask this. If you get exactly what you're chasing, will it fix your life? Now, let me give you some examples. You follow the directions perfectly on a map, but you put in the wrong address. 99.9% of that was the right execution, but it was 100% the wrong direction. You got a business. You've optimized your funnels, your ads, and your content, but you're selling something that no one wants. You got the perfect strategy, but it's the wrong problem that you're trying to fix. In a relationship, you win every single argument that you have with your wife or your husband or your spouse. And slowly you're losing the relationship. You've got the right words, but it's completely the wrong priority in that situation. And finally, the life version of this, right? What we're talking about right now, you do everything that society told you would make you successful. You worked hard in school, you went to college, you had a 4.0, you did everything right. You found a partner, you found a job, you worked real hard all the way from the ground, all the way up to where you're at now. And every day you wake up unhappy. You had the right checklist. The problem was you had the wrong definition of success. You can be perfectly disciplined. You're just working on the wrong goal. Now let's tie this back to fitness. You crush your workouts. You never miss a session. You track everything. But you're training for fat loss and you're eating for muscle gain. Your effort's completely right. You're training as hard as you can. But the way you eat is a way to gain muscle. Or the exact opposite. You're lifting weights every day. You crush these workouts. You're taking all the right supplements. You're on creatine. You take the right amount of creatine every day. You're picking up heavy weight every day. You're progressively getting stronger, but you're eating for fat loss. Again, the effort's right, but the outcome is going to be wrong. I have so many examples of that. I had a client who was doing everything. They never missed a workout. They tracked every macro. They were early morning, so they came every day. They had no excuses. And every check-in, they would say the same thing to me. They'd be like, "Coach, I don't get it. I'm working my ass off, but I still feel stuck." And I would get their spreadsheets and I would see that they were doing everything right. And so finally, they were even getting great results. So finally, I just said, "Well, why are you doing this? What is it for?" And they said, "Well, I want to lose weight." And they were losing weight and they were doing all the right things. And I said, "Well, I had to dig a little deeper." And when I dug deeper, I figured out that it wasn't really about weight loss. It was about they wanted to feel confident again. They wanted to not be exhausted around their kids. And Simply, they wanted to just not hate what they saw when they looked in the mirror. They thought that the plan was built around what they saw on the weight scale. But the problem wasn't that, it was life. They were 99.9% right. They wanted to lose weight, but they didn't want to just lose weight to see a number on the scale. They wanted to look better, feel better, have more energy. And that's a completely different conversation. If you just come to me and you say, I want a six pack, we have a goal, we have a mission, we can get there. I know the macros, I know the workouts, I know every way to get you to a six pack imaginable. We can go and do it one day at a time. We can get there. But we just got to dig a little bit deeper. Why do you want that six pack? What does that six pack represent to you? What does that mean? Who wants that six pack? If you get a six pack, are you going to be happy? Most people don't need more discipline, right? They just need better honesty with where they're trying to go. And I see it all the time. That's why when you come into our coaching program, we go one layer deeper on your goals. And we have to go so much deeper because that's where the truth lies. And that's where we can really get you to your goals, right? The main thing that we see with people who don't go into our coaching program and don't have a coach is that they are 99.9% right on the direction that they have in the gym, but they're 100% wrong. And this is the reason why. They decide that they want to get fit. They decide they want to lose weight. They decide they want to get strong. And then motivation is super high, especially in January, especially to start the year, especially if they've got a wedding coming up or they've got, a big goal or something that's on the horizon. And they go, I just got to go hard. So that's what they do. They come in, and I especially see this in men, they compete with the best athlete in the class. They go as hard as they can and they try and beat the best person in the class. And they try and lift as much weight as they possibly can. In terms of nutrition, well, I just won't really eat, right? Like, also, I've heard being a vegan is healthy. So let me just eat some salads and some veg, as little as possible, and I'll show up every day and I'll crush it. Now, you look at them two things: harder work, better. Less food, more results. 99.9% of that is great. Work out harder, eat less. Beautiful. But it's 100% wrong. Why is it 100% wrong? Because it's not possible. It's the same thing you did last year. It's the same thing you've done for the last 5 years. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. It's not going to get you to your goals. It's just going to either make you burn out or hate what you're doing every day. And that's not what life is about. That's not why we exist. You need a coach to help you set where you actually want to go, why you want to go there, and then build a real plan to get you there. And that's what we do. That's what we do every day. And it's not easy. And you might need to go through a few different coaches before you get there. You might need to try a few different styles of workout. You might hate going to yoga. You might hate running. You might hate group classes. You got to find one. Maybe you need a personal trainer. Maybe you need whatever it is. You've got to figure that out. Harder is not always better. What's going to work to get you to your goals? And that's what we're here for. That's what we'll figure out. That's what we'll figure out together. My email is ant@ox.fit. If any of this resonated with you, understand that this is what even me coaching hundreds of people, thousands of people over the last 10 years, still struggle with trying to attach my identity to things, trying to figure out why I want that goal, trying to figure out if it is the right goal for me. And that's what we work on together, is setting the right target so that you get 3 months down the road and you're on the right track to where you want to be, or where you want to be. And you don't get there and you go, oh, this is not what I thought it was going to be. This is not what I thought it was going to feel like, because you don't have a why attached to it, right? And I just want to finally finish this with, do you have any examples of where you can be 99% right and 100% wrong? And in fitness, I think that was great examples. But I think you can apply it to being a better business owner, right? We talked about one before, and it was like, the harder I work, the bigger my business will become, is the same concept. You're 99.9% right. But the caveat is that 0.01 depends on what tasks you're working hard on. And if it's not the right things, you're 100% wrong, and working harder won't do anything. I try and apply it to being a better man. Someone cuts me off in traffic. I can hold down the horn and start yelling and screaming. How could they do that? They could have crashed into me. They could have, you know, hurt somebody. Then I'm 99.9% right. But my reaction in that situation makes me 100% wrong. There's a better way to react. You could apply it to being a better coach of your kid's sports team, or just being a better parent in the stands. You yell at the referee at your son or daughter's basketball game, or the team's fouling the crap out of them. Somebody could get hurt. You're 99.9% right. Somebody could get hurt. But everybody saw your reaction. Everybody saw what you said to the referee. The referee is a volunteer or being paid $10 to go and ref this game. You really think they're trying to cheat you? You're 100% wrong. You dropped, your kid dropped or spilled milk. Even though you said when you gave it to him, and I've done this all the time, don't drop this, don't spill this. You yell at him. You're 100% right. You're 99. Just leave it there. You're 100% right. Yell at him. You're 99.9% right. It was stupid. They should have been more careful. They shouldn't have dropped it. You calling it stupid is 100% wrong. How are they going to get better? Right? How are they going to learn how to drink out of a cup like that? How are they going to, if you make them scared to hold the damn thing? Right? So I'm here to tell you that there is another way to figure out your goals. There is another way to make this happen, right? And I'm working on it. I'm working on myself every day to get better at this stuff. It's why I read Atomic Habits. And I've read it before and I thought I got it. And I just went like, work harder, work harder, work harder. And you're sitting there right now, like, I want to lose this extra 10 pounds, if I just work harder, work harder, work harder, eat less, eat less, eat less. You're so close. And all it's going to take is you hiring the right person to get you the results that you want. And that right person, I know, is in our gym. It's either me, it's Caitlin, it's Savannah, or it's Lauren. And we could all work with you. It's just which one can work better with you. Your mom, Lauren. Do you want to gain muscle, Caitlin? Are you in your mid-20s trying to figure out how to balance work, life, all that stuff, getting ready to have kids, Savannah? Are you a man? Do you have a business owner? Do you have fitness goals that scare the crap out of you? Ant at Ox.fit. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Hope you carry around your ESWB everywhere you go today. Just make sure you sprinkle a little salt in it. Otherwise, that water is just going to wash through your kidneys. And it was pointless. Comment below in the comments when you first drank water. Or, yeah. I think I was 25. So I'm going to say 25 is when I first drank out of a water bottle and thought that was a good thing to do. Comment what in your life comes back again and again that you're 99.9% right, but every time you react or every time you act like that or every time you do it, you know that you're 100% wrong. For most of you, it's yelling at traffic, but how does that concept apply outside of that? Please like, comment, subscribe if you're enjoying these podcasts. We are pumping out content every day. This is not easy for a small business like us to do, but like we give you a daily podcast every day at 10 a.m. for like 15 to 30 minutes while you're working. It's always positive, it's always fun. So if you're enjoying it, please like, comment, share with a friend. And if you're not subscribed already, what's your problem?